So you have a mission, a counterterrorism national security mission to protect the American people against radical elements abroad and at home. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
Senator.
So thank you to you and yours who are out there in the fight every day. I just want to put a fine point on some of this. So to understand what kind of threats we're facing, when it comes to China, how many cases a week will you open up against Chinese agents trying to engage in illegal espionage activity in the United States?
Well, frankly, I wish I could measure it by week. Senator, we are opening a new China-related counterintelligence investigation about every 12 hours.
Okay, stop. Thank you. To the American people, every 12 hours, the FBI is investigating some nefarious activity driven by the Chinese Communist Party against American interests. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, it is.
So when you talk to the ambassador to China as a member of Congress, House or Senate, and you ask them this question, and they say they're not engaged in such activity, would you consider that a misleading statement?
Well, Senator, I would find it inconsistent with our experience. As you've heard from this hearing, there's no shortage of things for FBI agents to be working on. So I can tell you, and I would tell him, that the reason we're opening a new investigation every 12 hours sure as heck ain't because we don't have enough else to do.
And on the level of severity, the harm it could do to our country, some of these cases pretty severe in nature?
Absolutely. It represents the potential of who's going to dominate the most significant industry sectors for decades.
So number one, America is virtually under attack by Chinese espionage activity in our economic sector every 12 hours. So that's where we're at. Do you need more resources than you have today to combat this?
Absolutely.
Just write it down, and I dare somebody to say no.
The point I would add to that, Senator, because I think you're hitting an important topic here, which is in addition to the every 12 hours on the counterintelligence side, the Chinese government has a bigger hacking program on the cyber side that we're up against than that of every other major nation combined, and have stolen more of Americans' personal and corporate data than every nation combined. So we will absolutely need more resources to be able to keep pace with something like that.
So write it down. If you don't write it down, you got nobody to blame but yourself. If you write it down and we say no, then you can blame us. All right, let's move to another topic. International terrorism. Are you worried about an attack on the homeland emanating from places like Afghanistan?
So we are. As somebody who was in the FBI building on 9/11 a little over 20 years ago and have met with the families in the years afterwards, I think about that day every day, especially now that we're out. I'm worried about the potential loss of sources and collection over there, so we're going to have growing intelligence gaps. And I'm worried about the possibility that we will see al-Qaeda reconstitute, the ISIS-K potentially taking advantage of the deteriorating security environment. And I'm worried about terrorists, including here in the United States, being inspired by what they see over there.
Well, you got a lot to worry about. And I appreciate you doing the best you can with the resources you have. So let's drill down and find out where we know we're at with China. They're up to no good every day. We recently killed the leader of al-Qaeda in Kabul. You're familiar with that, right?
Yes.
That's a good thing. Were you surprised that, one, he was in Kabul, Zawahiri, staying at the house, a guest house owned by the Haqqani #2 guy of the Taliban?
Not surprised, but disappointed.
Okay. Let's play FBI agent. What does it tell us about the relationship between al-Qaeda and the Taliban if the leader of al-Qaeda is staying in a house owned by the #2 guy of the Taliban? Would you say it's close and friendly?
Nothing good.
Nothing good. Are there training camps in Afghanistan being operated by al-Qaeda types?
Well, that I think I might need to have us follow up with you in a different setting.
Do the al-Qaeda elements and ISIS elements in Afghanistan throughout the world, do they wish to hit us again if they could here at home?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, the southern border. Have you been there lately?
Yes.
All right. Secretary Mayorkas says that the southern border is secure. From a counterterrorism point of view, do we have operational control of the southern border regarding counterterrorism threats that would lead you to conclude the border is secure?
Well, let me answer that this way. While on the one hand, we don't have, so I don't want to mislead people, any imminent credible threat from a foreign terrorist organization on the border at the moment, any port of entry, any potential vulnerability is something we know foreign terrorist organizations and others will seek to exploit. And you only have to look at the case that we charged pretty recently involving an individual trying to smuggle nationals into the U.S. to kill former President Bush,
Right.
To be reminded that it's something we need to take deathly seriously.
So let's look at the state of the border. We're estimating there'll be 1 million gotaways before the end of the year. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard reports to that effect.
That we're on track to have the most illegal entries in the history of the country this year by a factor of a lot. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard, again, reports to that effect.
How easy would it be for a group of terrorists to intermingle themselves in this wave of illegal immigrants and be able to sneak into our country to kill a bunch of us?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give them a roadmap, but it's certainly something
I
we're
think
concerned
they
about.
already know. So here's what I would suggest. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm out of time. I want you to tell me the likelihood of the southern border being exploited by terrorist organizations throughout the world to commit a terrorist attack on the United States if we don't change our policies. Thank you.